everybody. I'm Michelle Lancaster, Director of Sustainability at Microsoft. I'm excited to share with you today how you can use Azure to advance your sustainability objectives. At Microsoft, we see sustainability and our collective society's response to it as one of the greatest challenges of our lifetime. Climate change is impacting access to food, clean water, impacting communities and economies all around the world. It is scary, but it is not too late to put together a future that allows everyone to not only survive, but to really thrive in a growing economy. For that to happen, we need technology so we can better understand what's happening now, how our activities and actions today can make a better impact tomorrow, and how we can continue to grow and evolve as a society. We believe that's not only a responsibility that Microsoft has, but an opportunity that we have to use technology and work with our partner community and our customers around the world to capitalize on that opportunity moving forward. It's also good for business. As we look at economic data, sustainability presents an incredible opportunity for economic growth and for business success. Let's look at a couple of numbers to give you a sense of what we're talking about. Globally, government and utilities alone are expected to spend about $60 billion on energy efficiency measures in the next coming years by 2028. Precision agriculture, already a large and growing sector of our ag work, is growing to $12 billion in market value by 2025. Experts predict that bold climate action in important areas like energy, changing the way our cities operate, growing food more efficiently, and how we use land and water could deliver at least $26 trillion in economic benefits to the global economy by 2030. And finally, as we look at the opportunities we have to reduce carbon emissions, it also poses new opportunities for carbon markets. And the growth there could be up to $200 billion by 2050. Those all offer incredible opportunities for companies to begin to transform today to capitalize on those opportunities in the future. In addition to economic benefits and environmental benefits, we increasingly see that this is an area where consumers, shareholders, and stakeholders are not only expecting action, but rewarding the companies that take steps today. At Microsoft, sustainability is not just something that we do from an operational footprint, it's inside the core of our business. We cannot accomplish this task on our own, and we're incredibly excited to work with our partners to help all of our customers around the world embrace this opportunity and begin to transform their business. We're very excited to bring Envision Group to this conversation, who's really leading the way in helping companies understand their footprint, take responsibility for their energy consumption, and find new and innovative ways to reduce that consumption, better manage that across their business, and realize business savings.
Thanks, Michelle. Hi, everyone. I'm Tanush Bansal, representing the Azure team at Microsoft. I'm very happy to be here with Sylvie Uzel, the International President for Envision Digital, a company Microsoft is proud to partner with. Thank you, Sylvie, for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
First of all, as we get started, I would love to hear a little bit more about Envision Digital and what role you're playing in the energy industry.
So we were founded based on the experience the group had around smart turbines. So our DNA comes from making wind turbines smarter in terms of generation, maintenance, and grid balancing, so better forecasting the production of a wind turbine thanks to AI and IoT. And based on this great learning and great experience, our founders, Anglais, identified that there was a value in AI and IoT combined to improve the production of renewable energy, so generation, forecast, impact into the grid, storage, smart grid, microgrid, then getting into the other side of the equation, which is consumption efficiency. And here we are now an AI IoT company proposing end-to-end solutions for decarbonization from macro scale, macro utility scale to micro consumer scale, so from very big to very small, from generation to consumption and storage. And we've got 180 gigawatts of assets connected to our operating system, ENOS. And we have another use case, which is partly overlapping, which is full efficiency, machine-to-machine optimization with no human touch. So machines are speaking to machines and hopefully acting for the best. So that's who we are. We are an AIoT company with a deep energy DNA, and we are part of a group, Envision, which vision is to solve the sustainability challenge for mankind. It was really the vision of the founder, and it's really guiding our decisions on a day-to-day basis.
Wow, that's a bold, bold vision. And, as I was reading through and looking up Envision Group, I found the line, energy is beautiful, very striking. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on what do you mean by that?
So when you think of energy, you tend to think of oil, gas, things which are not totally neutral in terms of carbon emission, global warming, and impact on the planet. And we think there is an alternative, which is obviously renewable energy. And energy can be beautiful, not only in the sense of decarbonized and renewable, but also when you take it from an inclusion and economic development standpoint. If you think of fossil energy, of oil and gas, the prices are following market laws. We have seen with the recent OPEC discussions between some countries producing and exporting oil that it can have a big impact on the barrel's price. We have seen, of course, the impact of COVID. So barrel has always been fluctuating, to greater extent. Whereas when it comes to renewable energy, it's all about technology. The price and the cost of renewable energy is following sort of a Moore law. So it's constantly getting down, which means it's constantly being more affordable for more people to have access to energy, which is, of course, a key enabler for development, for social and personal development. It's a key enabler to raise the standard of living, to raise the education of people, to give them access to jobs, and to enable industries to develop. So we think energy can be beautiful, i.e. renewable, not only in the sense of not impacting negatively the planet, but also in the sense of including more and more people in the collective growth and finding a way not to force us to choose between growth and green, but finding a way that green can actually fuel growth.
Wow, that's a super inspiring thought, thinking of energy as beautiful. My next question for you is a hard one. Why should businesses care? What's in it for them in terms of investing in renewable energy and beautiful energy, as you described?
I genuinely think there is no other way to do business today. I think, everybody talks about the new normal, which is this fashionable expression, but we have to do something, obviously. We see that even COVID lockdown and basically almost stopping the overall economy just reduced carbon emissions by something than 20%. So we need to do something fundamental in the way we operate to actually avoid the worst. And this is, I believe, something more and more consumers are aware of, and they take it into account in their choices. It's definitely something more and more regulators and governments are aware of, and they are putting in place incentives, positive and negative incentives to push toward decarbonizations. For instance, in Europe, there is this CAFE tax, which is actually taxing car manufacturers for the carbon emissions of the cars they sell and put on the roads. So if car manufacturers are not moving from massively combustion engine fleets of cars they sell year in, year out, into decarbonized vehicles, they will have to pay hundreds of millions and some of them billions of fines every year, and the bill is getting higher and higher every year for the carbon emissions they are indirectly or directly generating by the cars they put on the roads. So consumers care, regulators and government are taking actions. I mentioned the negative one, there are also positive ones, incentives, subsidies, public investments. Corporations being in the middle, companies being in the middle, they can't ignore that new norm.
Got it. And, interesting thing as you talked about is I hear a lot about carbon tax and negative incentives, but the way you're describing the consumer and the customer interest, as well as the positive incentive, makes it sound like it's not a question of if we should do it, but it's a question of when we should do it for businesses. And it was a similar thing we used to hear in the cloud world as well. It's become more of a question of when or how fast. So switching over to the technology side, you talked a lot about this. how does cloud factor in your business with Envision?
Yeah, and just maybe just last thing to the consumer thing, two examples. I was speaking with a client who is a retail chain, and they were saying just putting rooftop solar on their stores and doing zero communication about it was driving a significant and sustainable, durable increase of traffic, which is, one interesting data point. And it was in the US. And this morning in the French press, there was, a lot of comments on the fact that one bank has been emitting some green financial products, which have actually a slightly negative yield. And those products are massively subscribed, which, says that people maybe are worried and a small negative yield is better than nothing. But also people want to contribute and want to invest in a meaningful way. So those two very concrete data points show consumers actually care, and it's impacting their actions and their decisions. But back to your question about technology. So we work with Microsoft Azure. So when we think of the decarbonization agenda, it's very systemic. So you have to generate green electricity, you have to store it, you have to consume it. More and more generation is not only in big solar and wind farms, it's also decentralized. And more consumption is coming from new sources of consumption, which are not totally understood and modeled based on history because they are new, such as, for instance, more and more electrification of heating, or more and more, of course, electromobility. So it means a lot of data to be gathered, to be sampled, to be meshed, and to be analyzed, to actually define how to optimize end-to-end the system, to maintain the thing in the middle, which is actually the electric grid, transmission and distribution in proper balance. So it's a massively data-hungry business with fluctuations in the messaging volumes, the data volumes, the processing volumes you have to handle, which is something Azure is obviously coping with very, very well. Flexibility and scaling up and down as needed is something we absolutely need, and we find with Microsoft solutions. The second topic is, of course, data privacy. In countries deploying smart meters, consumers are very worried about what's happening with their metering data. So data privacy end-to-end from the edge to the cloud is something absolutely critical that Microsoft is supporting us with. And then, of course, the computing power, scalability. So flexibility, but also scalability is totally critical because, as I was saying, those systems are more and more data hungry. The cloud is helping us to be able to process massive amounts of data in a cost-efficient way. You need to decide what's in the cloud, what's in the edge, what you are pushing up, how long you are storing, and you've got all those flexible options in Azure, which we are totally leveraging.
That's fantastic to hear, and really fascinating how it's an end-to-end scenario that you're looking at and solving with different pieces of technology from Microsoft and Azure. So Sylvie, as we talked about, you're obviously extremely advanced in your concepts around building sustainability, renewable energy, and combining technology to help you. What would you advise your colleagues and businesses on how to start on this journey? What would be a good first few steps for them to consider?
So if you put yourself in the shoes of a corporation, there is typically in a lot of countries one first move which is easy to take, which is to move to only electric vehicle, only battery vehicle, not hybrid, policies for corporate fleets, commercial vehicles, vans, and also, of course, employee fleets. That's a move we see, being made by a lot of corporations. However, there is no single simple solution because even that move, so first, it's not everywhere happening. It's not happening in the US. It's not happening in Asia to the same extent. And second, it's just one first domino of the chain. And it's very revealing because when you start to get there, you start to install chargers in your building. You start to realize the grid is limiting you. You start to get into producing your own energy with rooftop solar and storing it. And you just, think of efficiency of the building, overall efficiency of the building, heating, air conditioning, passive and active savings you can make, passive and active optimization of energy. And what I think this topic is extremely systemic. and you need to look at it end to end. So you can start by one end, which is electric vehicle. You can start by the other end, which is trying to be self-generating energy or buying green energy via preferred purchase agreements with green generators. But you always end up, going the full circle because consumption, storage, and generation are very linked and very intertwined. And the worst thing is definitely doing what happened a bit with this famous zero paper fashion. Let's stop printing stuff, and then we end up with tons of data in huge data centers, which are very energy consuming. And then we need to find new ways to greenify the data centers. So we are just pushing the problem from here to there. And if you just address one piece of the problem as a corporation, you push the problem to actually other topics like efficiency of your building or burden you create for the grid. So you really need to take a holistic view. That's why corporations, individual consumers' behaviors, and regulatory environment and government subsidies need to come in alignment together. Because again, it's a complex question with no simple answer. But one thing is sure, technology will be central to fixing that question.
Yeah, that's super interesting. No matter which end you start, it's important to think of it systematically and of course, think of technology as well. Well, Sylvie, this was really a pleasure. Thank you for your time. And honestly, it's indeed very humbling and gratifying to see Azure helping your goal of making energy beautiful. Let's close our dialogue with a short video on our work together. And Sylvie, thank you again.
We in fact started with renewable energy generation to solve global warming and to give better access to affordable energy.
We are driving down the cost, but it's another challenge for us.
So it's a lot of players injecting into the grid
New devices speaking different languages.
and someone needs to orchestrate all that.
We started to develop the NOS platform.
The operating system of energy, but also connected objects.
To optimize the energy flows between all these devices, you need to have the cloud platform.
Azure Cloud Solutions enables us to scale up and scale down in a very ecological and economic way.
We're making all the pieces work together and then achieve 100% green energy.
Green is driving growth, thanks to technology.
Well, that was an incredibly interesting and inspiring story and information from the Envision group. We're excited to talk about our goals, about how we're embedding sustainability into our business and delivering value for our customers as well. That starts with new ambitions that we announced earlier this year around carbon. We announced that we would become a carbon negative company by 2030, going below zero, and that involves removing all of our historical emissions by 2050. In addition to removing and reducing our own footprint, we're also expanding what we count in that. We've been carbon neutral across our operations since 2012, so obviously negative is less than neutral, and we are also expanding what we cover when we think about reducing our carbon emissions. Historically, we've looked at our operations, but we know that our devices and our software have impacts on energy consumption well beyond our four walls. So does our supply chain. In fact, that's the bulk of Microsoft's emissions. So this year, we've decided that we will also include those emissions in what we make negative. That goes hand in hand in working with our suppliers, our partners, and customers to deliver technology to help you reduce your footprint and to help our suppliers make changes. That's why we've also introduced a new supplier code of conduct this year that requires our suppliers to report emissions and ultimately reduce them. And we're excited to begin that work hand in hand with our suppliers. At the core of this is really technology, and that is why we've also focused our engineering efforts across the company to better understand the carbon impact of our software and hardware services, to deliver that information to customers, and to deliver new insights to help you better manage that. We know that that alone still is not enough to get us to carbon negative or the world where we need to be. And that's why we also committed $1 billion in a new climate innovation fund to really accelerate and incubate new technologies that would be available to everyone to really transform the way the world understands and interacts with carbon, but also include areas of waste, water, and ecosystems where we also need to make significant progress in a very limited period of time. We've continued beyond carbon with that in mind, with new goals around ecosystems and also around protecting more land than we use. We've continued into looking at reducing our waste footprint to ultimately become a net zero waste company. And we're not quite done yet. In September, we will announce our water goal and our intent to become a water positive company. So now that you know a little bit about what Microsoft is doing to address our challenges, we want to help you understand how we can be a better partner in your journey to address yours. It's a big task. We understand it's a hard place to understand even where to start. That's why we want to spend some time talking about what you can do, whether you're a large corporation or a small startup, and really think about what we can deliver to you as a trusted partner. So we will talk a little bit about the tools that we have so you can start understanding your carbon emissions from an IT perspective. We'll discuss how migrating to the cloud is a key first step in this journey, and you'll learn a bit about what we've done with Azure to make it more energy efficient. We're also sharing our learnings along the way. We had the resources to create a carbon tax, which has helped fuel innovation and advance our progress across the company. And we'll also talk to you about how your own employees and ecosystems of partners can help you innovate and move more quickly. So let's get started. There are 4 key steps to understanding your carbon consumption en route to improving your performance. Sustainability is a journey. That's not one that happens overnight. Microsoft, in fact, set its first carbon emissions target all the way back in 2009. So it doesn't happen quickly or overnight, but we're here to help. We think the best place to start is understanding what your actual starting point is. So really understanding your carbon emissions today. From there, you can start to make decisions about cloud suppliers and your partners that will begin to deliver savings on carbon and advance your sustainability goals almost immediately. From there, it's important to understand how you can use incentives to help your employees understand and reduce energy and carbon consumption across your operations. And finally, how to use your employees to help you on this journey. They're an incredible resource, and I think you'll find, as we found, that they are passionate and ready to get to work. So let's start with step 1. First is really understanding your emissions. And that involves a couple of areas of work because carbon accounting is complicated. We're going to try to make it a little bit easier for you. We've started by really breaking down the different types of emissions your organization produces and thinking about where you can make the biggest impact. We've done this through the Microsoft Sustainability Calculator, which is available today. We'll help you understand your current footprint, and you can also begin to enlist an ecosystem of partners to help understand the analytics and dig into your unique business needs. So here's a quick video with some highlights of this product. The calculator provides that insight into the different kinds of carbon emissions associated with Azure services, and also it will help you understand how Azure services are delivering sustainability benefits compared to your current on-prem status. For those that are responsible for reporting, we've also made it very easy to take the savings and make it reportable and easy to export into your existing efforts, saving you time and effort. And we have also included the last category of carbon emissions known as Scope 3, which includes supply chain, which is typically a very difficult task for most companies to do. We've decided to include that in the calculator to remove that guesswork for you. Now that you understand your emissions, we're ready to move to step 2, and that is choosing the right cloud provider and partners. It's perhaps the most important step, so we're going to spend a little bit of time here. The first thing to do is really review who works with you and who's providing services. Ask them the question, can they provide the information about their carbon emissions related to your IT services? What investments are they making in renewable energy? And what are their sustainability goals? Are they compatible with the ambition that your level of company has set? Microsoft can answer yes to all of those questions, and we'd love to be your cloud provider to help you on your sustainability journey. We've learned on our own, migrating to the cloud can help reduce carbon footprint. We've done it ourselves, and we want to pass that savings on to you. Azure is by far Microsoft's biggest investment as a company. When we migrated 2,000 applications from on-prem to the cloud, we learned a few things. Not only did we reduce our carbon emissions, but we substantially reduced our energy bill as well. We were inspired to understand what impact that could be for our customers, and we found that transitioning workloads for most of our customers would result in up to 98% more carbon efficiency and up to 93% more energy efficient options than an on-prem setting or data center. Now, there are variables involved, which is why we've created the calculator so you can toggle between those. But we found that research and that average bears out for most on-prem situations. And that means that when you choose Azure, you're not only getting a trusted and secure and increasingly green platform, you're also getting a cloud provider that is actively reducing carbon emissions, and you get to redeem those savings almost overnight in changing. We also have a large ecosystem of partners that are building apps and services within Azure, so you continue to reap those benefits as you move more of your work into Azure and unlock all that it can do. That's a pretty powerful way that IT departments can contribute to the climate goals of your company. Azure also offers a comprehensive mix of technology, best practice guidance, programs, offers, and tools to migrate your entire data center to the cloud. How can migration help? Well, first, focusing on sustainability can save time and money and reduce your operating costs. Outside of headcount and leasing costs, energy and electricity is usually one of the biggest expenses to businesses. So reducing energy consumption by moving to Azure can have a really big impact on ROI. When organizations make smart choices about the tools and services they adopt, they can drive efficiencies and value and reach your goals more quickly. Migrating to the cloud reduces your carbon footprint, and it makes you more energy efficient and CO2 efficient. Once you've migrated, you can also kickstart your journey on innovation using the market to access clean energy solutions, more sustainable products, and that offers new revenue opportunities for your business as well. You can continue to minimize your environmental impact and adopt sustainable practices by leveraging that ecosystem of partners. And you also know that given our ambitious carbon goals, our performance is only going to continue to improve over time as we work to deliver on them. And while migrating is a huge part of the sustainability impact to your business, there are also a number of Azure services and apps that can help build sustainability into your business. The commercial marketplace can help you jumpstart innovation, expand, and extend your technology portfolio. It has thousands of apps that are pre-certified to help you reach your sustainability goals, whether that's measuring your footprint, looking at water management and consumption, or looking at how you impact land and ecosystems and reduce waste. These apps are also really easy to use. You can purchase them through Microsoft Azure to streamline your procurement cost and have a single bill. And deploying these pre-built solutions can help your business be more agile, experiment with different solutions as you do that work to not only advance your sustainability goals, but to really transform your company into a sustainable company. We're going to talk about just a couple of the apps in the ecosystem to help you get started. The first is EcoVitis. They provide a third-party certified point of view on your sustainability rating. Many companies, thousands of companies around the world, report into EcoVitis what they're doing, their carbon footprint. So it also helps your organization portray the work that you're doing out as a company, but also helps you access information on your suppliers to help you understand your sustainability footprint inside your business. Min8 will help you as you're looking at waste. It will help you create a smart waste plan and enabling an open ecosystem in which any company can access technology solutions around packaging and smarter management of waste, which also has cost savings for your business. And finally, Axonize will help you address energy costs. That brings in data and business logic across apps and sensor data across your entire enterprise to make it easily configurable and extensible, and it comes with a free trial as well. Now, there are thousands of apps within the marketplace, and we really encourage you to go explore, find what works best for your business, and we guarantee there's an option there for you. Now we're on to the third step, which is really around how you start to embed sustainability and carbon efficiency within your business. That really starts with changing behavior. We've spent a lot of time talking about technology, but technology paired with changes in human behavior are going to drive the biggest impact for your business. And that really starts with understanding what incentives you can provide to your business groups to help them reduce their own carbon footprint as well. We did this with an internal carbon fee, and I'll explain to you what we've done. We understand that carbon fee is a difficult thing for many companies to take on, so we'll explain what we've done and then relate a bit about how we think this could be leveraged for many companies. Now, our internal carbon tax was first applied in 2012, and we actually charge each of our business groups a price on the carbon emissions that they will have over the course of the year. We then use that fee to generate funds, and we use the funds generated to actually feed back into our business to reduce our carbon footprint. Business groups can apply for grants. We also have used those funds to build out our sustainability story inside Microsoft. That started with retrofitting our campus and building a smart building solution, which is now available through many of our partners to implement in your own business. It's also a very effective way to not only generate funds, but also to drive behavior change. Businesses understand that there's a cost of carbon associated with their activities, and that knowledge is very powerful. It's driven our business groups to continue to make improvements across the products to reduce their tax base. And we've also used that information to develop new roadmaps and new solutions and new technologies. As I said, we understand not every company can implement a carbon tax, but this activity of really making sure that the cost of carbon is understood by business groups and helping them find a path to reduction over time is really important. And we couldn't do any of that if we didn't start with monitoring and modeling our carbon emissions across our operations to understand where we are, where we need to go, and what the biggest blockers are. Now, step 4 is enlisting your employees to help you move faster on your journey. We encourage you to look to your employee base for innovative ideas and support. We found that our employees share our passion and vision for reducing carbon impact, and in fact have many great ideas that have found their way into Microsoft products, services, and our operational goals. We've found that using employee passion can help you improve your recycling performance, can generate new ideas, and help you operate more effectively as a company. This is an area where you too can make changes to transform your business and drive sustainability goals forward. We hope that you take everything that we've learned and all of the work that we've done to help you begin your sustainability journey and go much more quickly, much more efficiently. We can help you get started. We're here to help you understand how to leverage technology to measure and minimize your environmental impact. We think migrating to Azure is a key first step to reduce your carbon footprint. And advancing sustainability efforts that support your bottom line through our partner ecosystem who are building, designing, and deploying solutions today that are delivering real-time value and environmental performance. Together with Microsoft technology, our partner ecosystem, and your work as customers, we can transform not only your business, but the entire planet to move more quickly, to meet new demands and markets, and to help you address sustainability goals, build new products and services, build brand loyalty among your customers, and to accomplish the goals that we all share of having a healthy planet that allows everyone on it to thrive for years to come. We're happy to provide more information about anything we've shared today. We've just launched a new website, Microsoft.com/sustainability, to help you get started, to get inspired, and to go more into depth in the areas that are most important to your business. We're looking forward to getting to work with you. Thank you.